Away we go. It is another nightcap brought to you by our great friends at galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app, Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Have it delivered. Go pick it up. Get you some Galactic sauce. Whatever it is, however you take care of it, make sure you get your fix of Galactic Fried Chicken. If you're looking for your Super Bowl spread, I'd hit them up now. I wouldn't wait.
It's about that time.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the 8 days away, Aaron. Eight days from now, the Cincinnati Bengals are playing in the Super Bowl.
I still can't believe it.
We got a lot to get to. Mainly one topic, but I'm sure we'll touch a little bit on a little basketball before we get out of here. But Aaron, you watched the Super Bowl or the Senior Bowl? Sorry, Super Bowl on my brain.
Senior Bowl.
You watched the Senior Bowl today.
Yeah.
Did you have Reese's while you were watching the Senior Bowl?
No.
Are you a Reese's guy? Do you like peanut butter cups? Do you like?
I do.
The pumpkins.
I like them in the freezer, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I prefer most everything like overly chilled. It's just better that way. It's better than like the chocolate's all warm and melty when you put your hands on it, and it's all over your fingers. Nah, I'm not good with that. Des Ridder, MVP.
No, offensive player of the game.
Offensive player of the game. Whatever.
MVP went to a defensive player from Oklahoma.
Okay. The linebacker. Yeah, he was good.
I did watch.
You did watch. I didn't watch that. I didn't catch the post-game award ceremony other than Dez won something. But he went out, led 2 touchdown drives. There were 4 touchdowns in the game. Des Ridder was the quarterback for 2 of them. Interesting that and it's an all-star game, so they kind of have to do this, but they got him out on the edge on a lot of bootlegs. He made 2 really nice throws in the pocket, made some throws on the move. He was, I thought, the best quarterback in the game. He made plays with his legs. He made plays with his arms. He read the defense well. I thought if you're looking at this quarterback class, which is tightly bunched, there's nobody that kind of stands out.
Right.
Des Ridder absolutely showed he's right there with Malik Willis. He's right there with Kenny Pickett. We didn't get to see the Ole Miss kid whose name escaped, Matt Corral. We didn't get to see him today, but throughout this week, except for maybe the first practice where it was like, okay, Des took a little bit to get warmed up, he was every bit as good as all the quarterbacks there. So now all of a sudden you're talking Des Ridder tracking back towards late first round, early second round. And he hasn't even gotten to the part that I think that Des is going to be really good at, which is team interviews and getting to talk football and get on the whiteboard. Like, I thought it was a really good day for Des.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up 4 of 6 for 68 yards. He rushed for 3 times for 12 yards. And I think most of them came on the 9 of them came on 1 rush. But no, I mean, you practice with these dudes for a week. Like, most of the stuff, I felt like he got hosed pretty bad on some just a lot of penalties on the drives that he led. There were a lot of false.
But that, to me, that was even like that made him stand out even more.
Yeah.
Because it felt like he was 1st and 15, 2nd and 13, whatever it was. Like, even when they got a fresh set of downs, there was a false start and it was 1st and 15, and he overcame it. Like, he only had 3 drives and he scored 2 touchdowns.
Cincinnati's offensive line last year, not his senior year, like this most recent season, but his junior year. I mean, that kind of prepared him for this. So
yeah, he was ready. First and 15 is just like first and 10 to Des.
Right.
Like,
I got this. It's fine. But no, he looked like he had poise in the pocket. I mean, he looked like he had I don't know. He's that guy that he's even said that he needs to get hit once before he's really like in the game. So I don't know. It took him a little, like not a little bit, but just
took him 1 series to get going.
Yeah.
And then he got going.
I was very pleased with the showing by him. Also with Kobe Bryant.
Well, offensively, Alec Pierce, Jerome Ford, both went through most of the practices. From my understanding, both were just a little, I don't even want to say dinged up because I don't think that was it. Both were just a little
precautionary.
You wake up a little tight one day, especially Alec with the issues he's had with his shoulder or whatever. You wake up not feeling 100%. It's February, like early February. The draft is not until late August or April, late April. Yeah, there's a long way to go. You still got the combine. You've still got your pro day. Like, especially for those two guys, they looked really good in the practice sessions.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that happens at the Senior Bowl. You got your evaluations. If you don't feel 100%, like there's no point in going. And that's even if you're at 97%. Like, sure. Both of those two guys are going to get drafted. So I wouldn't look too much into it. It would have been nice to see both of them because I thought, they both could have had big days given what we saw while they were practicing. But those two were out. Defensively, I thought all three guys played pretty well for the most part. Kobe got beat on kind of an in and out, like corner route.
Well, he got a little turned around and got a bad PI call on him. No. A bad PI call and that the flag should have never been thrown. That ball was 20 yards underthrown. It was not a catchable ball, if we're being completely honest. But
I don't know that an offensive lineman could have caught. Like, that was a terrible ball.
It was definitely short. Regardless, I mean, that's one thing that I think that college players probably. I mean, you saw some guys struggling to get used to pro rules where, like, if somebody was down, like, they didn't know if they could run it again, or defensive players were like just done with the play if somebody was down on the ground, even though no one had touched them, like on a catch or something. But on that, like, Kobe's just got to be aware that if you are going to get a PI, it's at spot of the ball now instead of, your 15 yards first.
Yeah, but that's it's such a terrible bullshit call. Like,
well,
what is he supposed to do? He's playing a deep route, and the receiver has to react to a ball that's underthrown by 20 yards.
Of course, it's against Calvin Austin too, right?
Yeah. Austin did get him on a little inside route, and then I can't remember who it was, but it was kind of another slot type guy, smaller guy that got him on not a double move, but he went inside and then back out on a corner route. Kobe was a step slow.
There was a tackle. There was a tackle he had that was phenomenal on. It was a run to the left side, about 15 yards, maybe 20 yards from the end zone, like going away from the end zone. And he looked like he was just going to bounce right off, but he held on and got the tackle.
I was keying on him when as much as possible because he was playing the boundary, which we know that's not his strength.
Right.
But there was a play over the middle that he did a really good job in trail coverage that stayed right on the guy and the quarterback. I think it was Willis early that couldn't get the ball and then had to like tuck it and run, where it probably would have been better because I think he ran for like 25 yards. It probably would have been better off if Kobe had given the guy a little space and they'd have stopped him for a 5-yard gain. But no, I thought overall Kobe looked good. I thought Beavers looked good in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing more back than he was, and you're not supposed to blitz. You're not supposed to crowd the line of scrimmage. So he was being asked to do some different things than he did here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked good. I thought Maje. It's so hard with Maje, man, because
I thought he looked great.
Well, he did look great, but he still left the one question about him unanswered. He gets to the quarterback, but he doesn't get the quarterback on the ground.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess the biggest issue I had, especially early on, was he was being held real bad.
Man,
I get it.
They hold on every play.
I mean, he's getting hooked around his neck. Like,
they hold on every play.
Hooked around his
quarterback. You got to get when you get to the quarterback, you got to get him to the ground. Like that's what's if he's going to make big money in the NFL as an edge rusher,
got to go through the quarterback.
You got to get the quarterback to the ground.
Not just to the quarterback, but through the quarterback. Right.
And we kind of saw that this year. He was disruptive as hell. He was exactly what we saw from Myjai all year. He had his hands on the quarterback all day.
Mm-hmm.
But other dudes got credit for the sack.
Did he get credit for at least a half sack? Because I feel like he should have.
I don't think he did because I'm
looking right now.
Him.
I'm looking at the box score.
The one you're talking about, he reached out and slapped Kenny Pickett in the back, and then somebody else cleaned it up.
Oh,
and the slap in the back, Kenny Pickett was like, oh shit.
They didn't keep defensive stats on ESPN. Thanks, ESPN, the worldwide leader.
Well, it wasn't on ESPN. It was on NFL Network.
It's still.
But I think that's still the question with him. Like you've got to finish as you continue to develop for Myjai. He's going to get he helped his stock.
Sure.
Because he was good on the run. He had a 6-yard tackle for loss on a misdirection play where he kept his eyes where they needed to be. He was in and around the quarterback all day. He showed his incredible ability to get off the ball and get upfield. So he had a great day, I thought. But he's until he starts racking up those big sack numbers, that's how you get paid in the NFL. You want to get paid? You want to get a second contract and make that, guaranteed $30, $40 million? They don't do it on analytics alone. You gotta bring the guy down. So that's the next step in his development. I thought overall, though, he looked really good. So the 4 guys that played all had very strong days. And then we know that Pearson Ford had a good couple days of practice before that. This is a game I think that would have been awesome for Brian Cook. I wish he was 100%. The way he flies around and just blows people up, and this is kind of a backyard football kind of deal. I'd have loved to have seen Brian Cook out there today. But
it was crazy hearing LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, talk about Desmond Ridder being one of the most impressive players of the game. That was just wild to me at the end of the game. So, yeah,
Des was great. That's about it for football today. We didn't have a show last night. Nate Letton, as we've talked about, hired as, sources tell Bearcat Journal, Nate Letton is expected to be the next tight ends coach at Cincinnati. Played offensive line. He worked as a grad assistant last year at his alma mater, Center College. He actually worked with tight ends, wide receivers, offensive linemen. He is a guy that the staff is very, very high on his football IQ, his ability to relate to the kids. He's made a big impression at UC since he's been here. His dad was a high school coach, legendary high school coach at Northern Kentucky, and has moved around a little bit, or not in Northern Kentucky, but in Central Kentucky at Lexington Catholic, and then has moved around a little bit since then. But I think it's a good one.
I imagine he had some hand in corralling Kamari Anderson into the fold. So,
if you look that's we've been talking about Nate Letton as the tight end coach for a couple weeks. There's a reason. It's not like, today, yesterday, whatever, he started doing work. So, I think that's an interesting young hire for the football program. Tomorrow, 6:00, Fifth Third Arena. House money? Is this house money? Or is it bigger than that?
I think it's house money.
In a lot of ways, I do too, because if they lose, they're where we thought that, they're not expected to win this game. But if they win, that changes everything for February, right?
100%. Absolutely.
If they lose, they are who we thought they were. And by that, I mean they're not as good as Houston, right? Okay, understood. But if they win, if they somehow pull it off, we're talking a lot different about this team with a win over Illinois. As we've talked about, neutral site win over Illinois, home win over Houston. That's 2 quad ones, 2 top 10 level quad ones. That's a different animal. That's something that differentiates your resume from the rest of the pack. So we'll see. Like I'm not going into it thinking they should win. I'm going into it thinking, if Houston doesn't play well and Cincinnati plays well, there's a chance you could cause a little chaos in the conference. Odds are Houston's not going to go undefeated at home or undefeated through the conference season, right?
Sure.
Those are the odds. At some point in time, they're going to slip up somewhere.
Spread's only 6.
Spread's only 6?
Only 6. ESPN's BPI gives Houston an 86% chance to win, and Cincinnati only a 14% chance to win. But the spread is only 6.
BPI is so bad.
I don't like it, but it is what it is.
The
over-under in this game is 131.
What's the Ken Palm difference is usually? Do you realize, usually that's where...
I don't subscribe to Ken Palm. I think you have to have subscriptions to get it.
Yeah, but that's where the Vegas lines are set. They use Ken Palm because if you watch it, it's almost always the Vegas line comes out at what the Ken Palm prediction is.
But I think you actually have to have a subscription to get the game by game matchup for Ken Palm.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But we'll see. I'll be there. You coming down?
Yeah, I'll be there.
You excited?
I'm excited. It's Houston.
I'm excited to see a full house.
I just want to see Kelvin Sampson uncomfortable. I'd live to see that man uncomfortable. I'm all about seeing him just not playing this team and coasting. And it's been a little while since we've gotten to see Kelvin Sampson play the Bearcats and be uncomfortable.
They've had one close game in conference. They beat Tulsa, I think it was, by 2, and they beat Temple by 5. Every other game has basically been a blowout in conference. So
I think I'm happy that they have them at home before they have them away, because I think that's a bolster to your confidence, especially if you can beat them. I think you go into Houston with an entirely different mindset than if you lose to them at home.
You also go into Houston with them knowing that they lost, and
either way, I'd rather go into Houston having one win in your belt than having lost to them at home and being like, well, here we go. Especially for those guys that have played Houston in the past.
The guys that are on this roster don't have a lot of happy memories about playing Houston.
No, they know.
So, all right, that's gonna wrap it up. I don't want to get too long. It's Saturday night. I want to keep you guys happy. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Fifth Third Arena, Bearcats and the Cougars. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by GalacticFriedChicken.com.
See ya.